Back live, ladies and gentlemen, from the Kudos Bank Arena, the venue for the gala reception for Prime Minister Narendra Modi. It's 7:30 in the morning in India, and it's just nearing about, like I said, noon here in Australia. Kevin Andrews, the former Defence Minister of Australia, is with us this morning. Good morning, or should I say just about good afternoon, Kevin. Thank you very much for joining us. I know our team had a bit of a confusion with our time zones and timelines, and you had logged in a little while earlier. I want to apologize live on the show for that inconvenience, and I thank you again. Really appreciate you joining us back live at this point. This kind of popularity for a Prime Minister and of course the enthusiasm that the Indian diaspora here in Australia has shown. Have you ever seen something like this before, Kevin?
This is wonderful. It's been many years since Prime Minister Modi visited Australia the first time back in 2014, but there's something like 700,000 Australians of Indian descent who live here now, who are wonderful citizens of Australia, but also have that ongoing connection to their home country, India. That number is going to double over the next 10 years. So a very significant part of the Australian population, and great to see the enjoyment and the excitement about the visit of Prime Minister Modi.
The other aspect, Kevin, is the India-Australia equations, the bilateral relations and the strengthening of these relations, and across all fronts, most importantly economic. Do you think we're taking strides and positive steps in that direction?
Oh, very much so. Prime Minister Modi has said that he wants to take the relationship to the next level, and that's something which is very exciting and very welcome here in Australia. The comprehensive strategic partnership is one which brings two countries that are like-minded together. We're both democracies. We both share some part of our history. We have a view and a vision for the Indo-Pacific. We want this to be based on a democratic vision, a rules-based international order. These are things which we very much share in common as two great democracies in the world. And to be able to have a visit from Prime Minister Modi, as we're having at the present time, just goes to strengthen that very important relationship.
What is he's meeting with the CEOs, he's got a round table, and he's got a bilateral with Prime Minister Anthony Albanese. But as former Defence Minister of Australia, let me ask you, what could be the security level tie-ups, the strategic tie-ups in terms of both nations working towards maritime security and also internal security, if you look at the domain of cyber security, cybercrime and cyber terrorism?
Well, these are very important aspects at the present time, as we know that the Indo-Pacific is now a more uncertain region than it has been for decades. We have, some forms of aggression in our area, which we have to withstand. And coming together for us to be able to participate, for example, in the Malabar exercises, for Australia with India and others to be a part of Quad, and to be able to try and bring a sense of security and peace to the region is very important. And then you mentioned cyber. That's become a new side of warfare, if you like. It's being used in ways which we would not prefer it to be used by many actors at the present time. And it's not something which we can control or in any way completely provide a rules-based order just at a national level. We have to have international cooperation to do that. And so for Australia and India and like-minded countries, this is an important venture which we're engaged in at the present time.
One more question to you, Kevin, and I'd like Ambassador Prabhu Dayal, who's with us, to also weigh in on this after you. Is the issue of Australian territory being used for a particular secessionist agenda against India? And I'm talking about the Khalistani elements trying to get a little more emboldened with their vandalism and their acts on Australian soil. Is there a consideration within the Australian polity to look at it beyond the prism of just religious interference to the other level of also a secessionist agenda against the sovereignty of India, using Australian soil to attack the sovereignty of India?
Well, in this country, we have laws in relation to activities which are untoward, which are against international law. That's something which is monitored on an ongoing basis by our security authorities here. We, as a country, don't wish to undermine the sovereignty of India, and indeed the contrary. We want to recognise and support the sovereignty of India, and things which are contrary to that are something which are things which are looked at very carefully by security agencies here in Australia.